Welcome to the Deep Dive, the place where we really try to sift through all the information overload and give you something clear, something valuable, knowledge curated just for you.
Yeah, our whole goal here is to give you that shortcut, right? Skip the endless searching and get straight to insights you can actually use.
And today's deep dive feels particularly relevant. I think everyone feels pulled in a million directions sometimes.
Absolutely. We're looking at source material that lays out this stack of 10 daily habits. Small things, simple things, but apparently science-backed.
And the promise is pretty big. A path towards being healthier, happier, and maybe feeling a bit more in control of your life.
Which sounds great, obviously. But when we first looked at this list...
I know, right? It seemed almost too basic. Like, get more sleep, move your body. We've all heard that stuff before, haven't we?
We have. But what caught my eye was how the source material frames them. It's not just 10 separate tips.
No, it's about how they link together, how they're interdependent. That's the key word they use.
Exactly. Like levers that, when you pull them together consistently, the effect isn't just additive, it compounds dramatically, according to the source.
So the value isn't in complexity.
Yeah.
It's the consistency. Doing these simple things day in, day out.
That's the core insight we need to explore, and we need to get into the why. What are the actual payoffs? Biologically, cognitively? Why does writing down 3 good things actually do anything?
Or how does reading for just 10 minutes supposedly rewire your focus? That's what we need to understand, right? Because knowing the why makes it easier to stick with it.
It provides the motivation for that daily discipline.
Okay, let's unpack this then. We're going to go through these 10 habits, look at the mechanics, the claims.
And figure out how you could potentially stack them into a routine that actually works.
Right. Let's start with the foundation, the mental habits that seem to anchor the whole day. So let's kick off with habit number 1. And honestly, this one might be the toughest pivot for a lot of us living in the modern world. It's start your day with intention.
Sounds simple, doesn't it?
Almost laughably simple. Yeah. The core instruction is basically start your morning with a clear purpose, and crucially, don't grab your phone first thing.
And that avoiding the phone part. It seems tiny, trivial even, but the source argues it's absolutely foundational. It's about managing your nervous system for the next, 15 or 16 hours you're awake.
So what does the source suggest instead? Just lie there.
No, not necessarily. It suggests taking just 2 minutes. That's it, 2 minutes. Maybe breathe deeply, do a gentle stretch, or just visualize the day ahead. Think about your intention.
Okay, 2 minutes. I think most people could find 2 minutes.
You'd hope so. Now think about what usually happens. You wake up, grab the phone. What hits you?
Emails, news headlines, social media notifications, maybe a text message that immediately puts you on edge.
Exactly. You're instantly subjecting your brain's operating system to external demands. Comparisons, dopamine hits, potential stress triggers. And this is all happening before your prefrontal cortex, the rational decision-making part, is even fully online.
So, by grabbing the phone, I'm basically handing over control of my mood and focus to whatever the algorithm decides to show me, or whoever texted me.
Precisely. You instantly shift into reactivity. You're reacting, not acting. And the research highlighted in the source material connects this directly to a spike in cortisol.
The stress hormone.
The primary stress hormone, yeah. So you've literally started your day with a biological alarm bell, telling your body to be ready for a threat, ready for a rapid response.
Okay, so that's the what not to do. What happens if I actually do the 2-minute thing? Let's say I just focus on my breath and think about one positive thing for the day ahead.
Well, according to the science presented, you sidestep that immediate cortisol surge. You're engaging the parasympathetic nervous system first, your rest and digest mode.
You're starting calm instead of stress.
You're starting proactive. By taking those 2 minutes to set an intention, you're sending a signal. I'm setting the pace today. I'm determining the direction. It's a tiny choice, a micro choice really, but it builds psychological momentum based on internal decision, not external pressure.
That 2-minute difference dictates whether you're driving the day or just reacting to whatever pops up.
That's the core idea. You're setting the tone intentionally.
I can definitely see how that would lead to a calmer, more focused state. And building on that positive mental framing, we get to habit number 3, which is practice gratitude.
Another one that sounds maybe a bit fluffy, but the action is very specific.
Right, the source says, write down 3 things you are genuinely grateful for. It can be morning or evening. Just 3 things.
And this one is so powerful because it directly targets our brain's built-in negativity bias.
Ah, yes, the evolutionary hangover that makes us zoom in on threats and problems first. Survival mechanism, right?
Exactly. We're wired to spot the danger, the deficit. Gratitude practice is like active resistance training against that default setting.
Because usually our mind defaults to the 3 things that went wrong yesterday, or the 3 things we feel we're lacking.
Precisely. So the source makes this pretty bold claim that gratitude rewires the brain for positivity and resilience. Is there actual science behind that rewiring?
There is, quite a bit actually. When you consciously search for, recall, and then write down things you appreciate, you're activating key brain regions. The source mentioned the hypothalamus, which helps regulate stress.
Okay.
And also the ventral tegmental area, the VTA. Now, this is a major player in the brain's reward pathway. It's where a lot of dopamine production happens.
So wait, by thinking about things I'm grateful for, I'm actually giving myself little hits of dopamine, like a chemical reward for positive thinking.
Essentially, yes. You're reinforcing the neural pathways associated with positive emotion and observation. You're strengthening them.
So it's not just a warm, fuzzy feeling, it's actual brain training.
It is.
Yeah.
By consistently stimulating that reward pathway through gratitude, you're basically training your brain's default filter. You start to notice abundance more readily than scarcity.
And the source connects this to long-term mental toughness. How does that work?
Well, think about it. If your baseline is slightly shifted towards recognizing the good, towards seeing your resources, when a setback inevitably happens, and they always do, your brain is less likely to immediately spiral into catastrophic thinking.
So you're better equipped to problem solve or see a path forward because you're not solely focused on what's lost or missing.
Exactly. It acts like a buffer or maybe a shield against feeling overwhelmed or burning out, and it's forged by, maybe 3 minutes of writing each day?
2 minutes for intention, 3 minutes for gratitude, 5 minutes total.
Minimal time, maximum impact on governing your mindset for the rest of the day. It's pretty compelling when you frame it like that.
They really are the twin anchors for the mind, aren't they? Setting the internal state first.
Okay, so if the mind state is managed, what about the tools we use for thinking and organizing? Let's move into fueling cognition. All right, shifting gears to optimizing thinking and focus. Let's look at habit number 5. Read every day.
And the beauty of this one, according to the source, is the incredibly low barrier to entry. We're talking just 10 minutes a day.
10 minutes? That feels achievable, even on a crazy day. You could probably manage that.
Almost anyone could, right? And the promised payoffs are significant. You expand your knowledge, sharpen your thinking, and apparently it even reduces stress.
Okay, but how is 10 minutes of reading different from, say, 10 minutes scrolling news headlines or watching short informational videos? Isn't it all just information intake?
That's a great question. The key difference lies in the quality and type of focus it demands.
Go on.
Well, think about how we consume most digital content. It's often shallow, rapid-fire processing. We're encouraged to jump from one thing to the next, chasing that little dopamine hit of novelty. Our brains get rewarded for context switching.
Yeah, that endless scroll feeling.
Exactly. Deep reading, especially of a physical book or even just a longer, complex article without distractions, forces something different. It requires sustained focus, sequential processing, comprehension over time.
You have to follow an argument, remember characters or concepts from previous pages.
Precisely. You're exercising cognitive functions like focus, comprehension, and memory recall in a way that scrolling simply doesn't. It's like a workout for your attention span, which, let's be honest, probably needs it in today's world.
So we're not just downloading facts, we're actually rebuilding our ability to concentrate.
That's the argument. We're demanding sustained cognitive effort, pushing back against the atrophy caused by constant digital snacking. And the source also has a useful tip here.
Your kids?
Choose material that inspires or educates, so you get this dual benefit. You're learning something useful or getting motivated, and you're strengthening that focus muscle simultaneously. It's quality input yielding high cognitive returns.
Input that ideally prepares your mind for the next challenge, which is actually getting things done.
Nicely linked. That brings us right to habit number 8. Set daily priorities.
The age-old battle against the overwhelming to-do list. That feeling of having 50 things pulling at you, ensuring nothing truly important gets the focus it deserves.
It's a universal struggle, isn't it? The source offers a really elegant, almost ruthless simplification here.
Which is?
Pick your top 3. Just 3. Identify the 3 most important high-leverage tasks for the day each morning,
Right.
And then focus obsessively on getting those done first, before anything else derails you.
But hang on, only 3. What about the other 17 things on my list that are also screaming for attention? Doesn't focusing on just 3 actually increase anxiety, but everything else is not getting done.
You'd think so, but the source argues it does the opposite. It's a strategy against something called decision fatigue.
Decision fatigue.
Yeah.
That's the idea that our ability to make good choices wears out over the day, right?
Exactly. When you're staring at a list of 20 items, you burn significant mental energy just deciding what to tackle next, or debating if it's the right thing, or maybe just procrastinating because the sheer volume feels paralyzing.
Yeah, I recognize that feeling. Analysis paralysis.
Right. By deliberately narrowing your primary focus to the top 3, the tasks that likely deliver 80% of the value anyway, following the Pareto principle, you conserve that precious decision-making energy. You save it for the execution of those critical tasks.
It's like that famous example of successful people wearing the same outfit every day just to eliminate one small decision. This is applying that same logic to your actual work.
It's exactly that principle. And think about the psychological payoff. When you knock out those 3 high-impact tasks, ideally before lunchtime,
You feel like you've actually achieved something significant.
undeniably, it creates this powerful sense of accomplishment and momentum. That feeling acts as incredibly strong, positive reinforcement. You've banked your biggest wins early.
Which then frees up mental bandwidth and probably reduces anxiety about the smaller stuff later, because the really important things are already handled.
Precisely. The big rocks are in the jar.
Okay, that makes sense. But to maintain that kind of focus, whether it's for deep reading or nailing those top 3 priorities, you need the right setting, don't you?
Absolutely. Which leads us neatly into habit number 6, declutter your space.
Another one that seems maybe a bit superficial. The action is simple. Spend just a few minutes each day tidying up your workspace or maybe a corner of your home.
It might seem minor or just about aesthetics, but the source connects this directly to cognitive function. The core idea is a cluttered environment creates a cluttered mind.
How so? Is it just distracting?
It's more than just conscious distraction. Our visual system processes everything in our field of view, even subconsciously. So those piles of paper, the unwashed coffee mug, the scattered files, that visual chaos constantly nibbles away at your mental resources. Your working memory is dealing with it, even if you're trying to ignore it.
Source called it ambient mental noise, I think.
That's a perfect description. It's this low-level, persistent hum of unresolved stuff, of environmental disorder. So by taking those few minutes, maybe doing a quick 5-minute tidy up at the end of the workday.
You're creating a visual field that's calm and orderly.
Exactly. And that external order translates directly into reduced cognitive load. You literally free up mental bandwidth. You can think more clearly, focus better, and feel calmer because your environment isn't constantly signaling chaos to your brain.
So it's not just about looking nice, it's about reducing the mental drag, which then helps you execute those other habits, like reading or focusing on priorities.
Precisely. It supports the mental demands of the habits we just discussed. They all work together.
Okay, so we've set the mental stage and cleared the external environment. Now we need to get into the real biological underpinnings. Treating the body like the high-performance machine it needs to be for all this to work.
And the absolute, undeniable foundation for all of it, according to the source, is habit number 4, prioritize sleep.
This is the big one. The source is really emphatic here.
Yeah.
Sleep isn't a luxury you indulge in when you have time. It's a fundamental necessity.
Non-negotiable. It argues that if you're consistently missing that target of 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep, forget about optimizing the other 9 habits. Your foundation is cracked.
We all kind of know the surface benefits, right? Better memory, better mood, maybe sharper decision-making. But let's go deeper. What's actually happening physically during those 7-8 hours that makes it so vital for, say, cognitive performance the next day?
Okay, one critical process we need to talk about is the glymphatic system. Heard of it?
Vaguely. It's like the brain's cleaning crew, right?
That's a great way to put it. While you sleep, your brain is literally flushing out metabolic waste products that accumulate during waking hours. Think of things like amyloid beta plaques, which are linked to Alzheimer's.
Well, the brain takes out the trash while we sleep.
Exactly. This cleaning process is significantly more active during deep sleep. If you cut sleep short, you're essentially forcing your brain to operate in a dirty environment the next day. Everything gets gummed up, neurotransmission is less efficient.
Performance drops. Makes sense.
And it's not just waste removal. Different sleep stages do different jobs. Deep sleep is crucial for physical restoration and consolidating declarative memories, facts, figures, events. Then you have REM sleep. rapid eye movement sleep, which tends to happen more later in the night. That's critical for emotional regulation, processing experiences, and complex problem solving. Creativity often sparks here too.
So skimping on sleep doesn't just make you tired.
No. It makes you more emotionally volatile, reduces your impulse control, seriously impairs your judgment and risk assessment. Basically, it makes you the opposite of that calm, intentional person we aimed for with habit 1.
Right, convinced. Sleep is critical. The source gives a very specific action step to improve quality sleep, turn off screens an hour before bed, and create a simple bedtime ritual. Why is that 1-hour screen ban so important?
It really boils down to blue light. The light emitted by our phones, tablets, computers, even some e-readers, has a high concentration of blue wavelengths.
And blue light is bad for sleep.
It's particularly effective at suppressing the production of melatonin. Melatonin is the hormone your brain releases to signal, hey, it's nighttime, time to wind down and prepare for sleep.
So scrolling Instagram before bed is basically telling my brain, nope, still daytime, stay alert.
Yeah, pretty much. By cutting out those screens an hour before bed, you give your body a crucial window. Melatonin production can start naturally, allowing you to fall asleep faster, and, more importantly, transition more smoothly into those vital deep and REM sleep cycles.
It's probably the single highest leverage thing you can do for sleep quality.
Arguably, yes. Simple but powerful biology.
Okay, so sleep is the fundamental repair and reset. What about maintaining the system during the day? That brings us to habit number 2. Move your body daily.
And again, notice the low threshold here. This source emphasizes it doesn't have to be a grueling gym session. We're talking a 15-minute brisk walk, a short yoga routine, even just some simple stretching.
That minimum effective dose approach seems key. It makes it hard to make excuses.
Exactly. Consistency over intensity, especially at the start. Now, the immediate benefit most people know is the endorphin boost, right?
Yeah, the runner's high, or just feeling generally better after moving. Those natural feel-good chemicals.
They definitely help with mood instantly. But the source points to longer-term cognitive benefits that are arguably even more important.
Okay, tell us more. We always hear exercise is good for the brain, but what's the mechanism beyond just, like, getting blood flowing?
Blood flow is important, don't get me wrong. More oxygen, more nutrients to the brain. But movement also triggers the release of something called BDNF.
BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor.
That's the one. You can think of BDNF as fertilizer for your brain cells. It helps existing neurons survive, and it encourages the growth of new neurons. That's neurogenesis and connections, especially in the hippocampus.
Hippocampus, critical for learning and memory, right?
Exactly. So consistent daily movement isn't just making you feel good today, it's literally helping your brain become better at learning, remembering, and adapting over the long haul. It's physically changing your brain structure for the better.
Wow. So a 15-minute walk is actually an investment in future brain power.
Absolutely. Plus, movement helps reduce systemic inflammation. Less inflammation in the body generally means less inflammation in the brain, which translates to clearer thinking, better focus. It's often the quickest way to shake off that mid-afternoon brain fog without reaching for caffeine.
You're generating energy and clearing out the mental cobwebs at the same time.
That's a good way to put it. You're actively improving the biological environment for thinking.
Okay, so sleep repairs, movement maintains and stimulates. But the system needs fuel, which brings us to habit number 7, nourish your body.
Right. This involves fueling yourself with balanced meals and, importantly, plenty of water. The core message is simple. What you put in directly impacts your energy levels and your mood.
This feels like common sense, but maybe we don't always connect the dots so directly.
I think we often underestimate the immediate biochemical impact. We need to think about this through the lens of the compound effect, just like the other habits.
How so with food?
Well, consider energy stability. If your diet relies heavily on processed foods, sugary drinks, simple carbs, you get those blood sugar spikes, right?
Yeah, the sugar rush.
Followed inevitably by the crash. And that crash doesn't just feel like physical tiredness. It manifests directly as irritability, poor concentration, mood swings, brain fog again.
So steady energy requires steady fuel. What kind of small, high-leverage changes does the source suggest here? It's not about a total diet overhaul, is it?
No, again, it emphasizes small compounding changes. Consistent hydration is a huge one. Being even mildly dehydrated can significantly impair attention, memory, and reaction time.
That afternoon slump might just be thirst sometimes.
Very possibly. Just drinking enough water throughout the day can prevent that low-grade headache and cognitive drag. Another key aspect is the gut-brain axis.
Ah, the connection between digestive health and mental health.
Exactly. A surprisingly large amount of serotonin, the neurotransmitter vital for mood regulation, is actually produced in your gut. So by gradually incorporating more whole foods, fruits, vegetables, fiber, you're feeding the gut microbiome that helps produce those crucial neurochemicals.
So eating better isn't just about physical health. It's literally providing the building blocks for a stable mood and sustained energy.
Precisely. It provides the steady fuel needed to tackle those priorities, habit 8, and maintain the emotional equilibrium needed for gratitude, habit 3, and self-reflection, habit 10.
See, it really does all tie together. Okay, we've covered managing the mind, the environment, and the body's core biological needs. Now, as we head towards the end of the day, we encounter perhaps the biggest modern challenge to all this good work.
The digital drain, which brings us to habit number 9, limit screen time.
The source is pretty direct about the danger here, isn't it? Too much scrolling, too much passive consumption. It drains your focus, tanks your mood, and steals time from deeper pursuits.
Unequivocal. And the action steps are about creating conscious boundaries, setting time limits for social media, maybe using apps to track usage and build awareness, basically reclaiming control.
We all feel that pull, that magnetic lure of the infinite scroll. But what's the specific cognitive cost? How does it actively undermine the positive habits we've just discussed?
It comes back to that attention span issue we touched on with reading. Endless scrolling trains your brain for constant context switching, and it operates on what psychologists call a variable reward schedule.
Like a slot machine. You never know when the next like or interesting post will pop up, so you keep pulling the lever.
Exactly. It delivers tiny, unpredictable dopamine hits that keep you hooked. Your brain becomes conditioned to seek this shallow, rapid-fire stimulation.
Which makes it harder to do things that require sustained, deep focus, like reading that book for 10 minutes, or working on a complex priority task.
Precisely. It makes your attention span fragile, easily fractured. It's the complete antithesis of the calm, intentional focus we tried to cultivate with habit 1. You're essentially training your brain away from the skills needed for deep work and meaningful connection.
It's actively working against the goals.
It is, and that's why the source strongly emphasizes replacement activities. It's not just about stopping the scrolling, it's about consciously choosing something else.
Like what?
Swapping that mindless scrolling time for a walk outside, habit 2, engaging in a hobby, having a real conversation with someone. Things that are actively restorative, not passively draining.
So passive scrolling depletes energy and often triggers social comparison anxiety.
Right, whereas active engaging replacements, playing music, learning a skill, connecting with a loved one, actually regenerate mental energy and support emotional well-being. They refill the cognitive tank that screen time drains.
That intentional swap seems crucial. Okay, that sets us up perfectly for the final habit, the one that ties everything together and ensures this isn't just a one-day fix, but a path for ongoing improvement.
Habit number 10, practice self-reflection. This is the quality control step, the learning loop.
The source suggests a specific time and duration again. Just 5 minutes in the evening.
5 minutes to consciously pause and process the day. And the prompts are beautifully simple and targeted.
What are they again?
Just 2 questions. What went well today? And what can I improve tomorrow?
Why those 2 specific questions? Why not a more elaborate journaling practice? What makes these 2 the magic formula for growth, according to the source?
Because they distill the day's complexity into immediately actionable feedback. It's applied metacognition, thinking about your thinking and actions.
Okay, break that down. What went well? What's the power there?
It forces you to acknowledge success. It actively counteracts the negativity bias again. You consciously register your wins, however small. This reinforces the positive actions and leverages neuroplasticity. You're strengthening the pathways associated with what worked. It prevents that common trap of only focusing on failures or shortcomings.
So you're training yourself to see and value your progress. Build self-efficacy.
Exactly, and that positive reinforcement fuels motivation for the next day. Then comes the second question. What can I improve tomorrow?
This is the strategic part.
This is where the learning happens. It connects directly back to your intentions and priorities. Let's say you reflect and realize, okay, I only got 2 of my top 3 priorities done because I spent the first hour sucked into email.
Right.
Your answer to what can I improve becomes incredibly specific. Tomorrow, I will not open email until my top priority is complete. Or maybe I need to use my screen time blocker more effectively in the morning. It makes your planning for the next day's habits 8 and 9 immediately smarter and more targeted.
It closes the loop. You're not just hoping tomorrow will be better. You're identifying concrete adjustments based on today's experience.
Precisely. That 5-minute reflection turns each day into a deliberate learning cycle. It's the engine that drives continuous improvement and makes the whole system sustainable. #outro. So when we pull back and look at all 10 of these habits together, from that quick 2-minute intentional start right through to the 5-minute reflection at the end, the core insight from the source material really is about synergy, isn't it?
Absolutely. They're not just a random collection of good ideas. They function as an integrated system.
Yeah, they work together, managing the mind, fueling and maintaining the body, optimizing the environment. It creates this kind of holistic framework.
A framework where positive outcomes feel less like luck and more like the natural result of these consistent small actions.
Success becomes almost the inevitable output rather than a happy accident. That's the underlying promise here.
And crucially, the source offered that vital piece of advice right at the end, which we shouldn't forget.
Oh yeah, the implementation piece. Super important. You don't have to tackle all 10 at once.
Definitely not. That would probably be overwhelming and counterproductive. The advice was, start small. Pick 1 or 2.
Choose the 1 or 2 that resonate most with you right now. Or maybe address your biggest pain point. Get those established first.
Let them become natural, build some momentum.
Exactly. We're aiming for compounding results here, not immediate perfection across the board. Pick the easiest win or the most needed fix. Maybe it is sleep, maybe it's the morning phone habit, maybe it's just that 10 minutes of reading, and build out from that point of strength. Consistency beats intensity here.
So what does all this mean for you listening right now? I think the big takeaway is that real, lasting change doesn't necessarily demand huge, dramatic life overhauls.
No, it seems to hinge on microdiscipline, applied intelligently and consistently.
The really powerful levers seem to be those low-effort, high-reward actions, that 2-minute intentional start to dodge the morning stress bomb.
Yeah, huge impact for minimal time.
Protecting that 7 to 8 hour sleep window like it's sacred, knowing you're activating that vital brain-cleaning system.
Non-negotiable, really.
And then closing the day with that simple 5-minute reflection to keep learning and refining your approach.
Those are the force multipliers, the ones that really amplify the effects of all the others. Simple actions, profound results over time.
Absolutely. Which leads us to a final thought to leave you with. If one tiny 2-minute habit, like choosing to breathe intentionally, instead of grabbing your phone first thing, can fundamentally set a positive, low-stress tone for your entire day, then we have to ask, what 2-minute habit might you be doing right now, maybe even unconsciously, that's setting a negative tone, something that floods your system with stress first thing, or instantly fragments your focus before the day even begins? And how quickly could you swap it out for something better?
That's a powerful question to ponder.
Maybe start there. Identify that negative micro habit and make the swap. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.